Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel with myself, Isabella. Thank you so much for joining me here today. If you're new here, my name's Isabella. I'm a graduate of the Vaganova Ballet Academy, as well as I used to dance with the Mikhailovsky Ballet and IFM Ballet before I founded BWI, which is an online platform full of classes, courses, bespoke plans, ready-made plans, live classes with me and other teachers, as well as one-to-one lessons. We also host intensives worldwide. My mission is to help more and more of you succeed, be it with your mentality as a dancer, because I have a podcast, A Dancer's Mindset. Check it out. It's the most followed dance podcast out there. And also my platform helps you physically with all the demands of ballet, be it you need to get more flexible, stronger, or just understand how to do ballet steps better. And the levels go from absolute beginner, we just released an 8-week absolute beginner course, to professional. So let's get started. Today in this video, we're going to be talking about my stretching journey, because as a lot of you guys know, I definitely didn't start flexible. I've shared a little bit of my flexibility journey and my turnout journey, and those two kind of are tied together in the sense that I definitely started very, very stiff. I was one of the least flexible people in my class. So when I joined Tring Park School of Performing Arts, which is the school I went to before the Royal Ballet School, my splits, for example, my box splits, which is when you open the legs out to the side, was so inflexible. It was kind of like that. And I really just thought I was just someone who was never going to be flexible enough. I was told not only did I not have enough turnout, but I didn't have enough flexibility. No one really told me, though, how to rectify that. No one had told me how to actually stretch. No one had told me what it actually takes. And so I was told all these problems, like you're not flexible enough, but I wasn't told any solutions. And in a lot of these schools, such as the Royal Ballet School and, just generally in England, we're told to be very safe, which is fine. Like, obviously, no one wants to hurt themselves, but it's sort of taken to a degree of don't stretch at all, and outside of the lesson, which is kind of hard to achieve much, especially if you're not naturally flexible, because ballet takes a lot of hard work, especially outside of the studio, which is a lot of what my platform is based on. And so it wasn't until I went to the Royal Ballet School and I was still not flexible enough at all. And even though I still wasn't that flexible, I was told to put my legs lower. I was also taller than most people already. And so naturally, I think my legs looked higher because I was just physically taller, but they still weren't high, not compared to Vaganova flexibility. And obviously, when I'm talking about flexibility, it's not just a sense of we want high legs. It gives you freedom of movement. It gives you freedom to perform the exercises more artistically. You have more range in your body to express. And when you have these beautiful long limbs that can express in a way with high legs, it just maximizes the movement and maximizes what you can do with your body and what you can convey with it. It is important to be flexible. It is important to have range, because otherwise you actually end up injuring yourself too if you're too stiff. And so all these factors were at play here. And it wasn't until I went to St. Petersburg, I wasn't actually in the school yet, but I went to St. Petersburg, and I've shared this lesson on YouTube before. It was when I'm 12, having my lesson with Gennady Zalutsky. And he gave me some feedback, and he said basically, you have a beautiful body, like you have nice feet, there's not enough turnout, and your flexibility is not good enough. He said I have boys more flexible than you, which I found very disheartening, because I knew I had to be much, much more flexible, but I still didn't know how to actually stretch. So then fast forward, I go to the school and I am trembling. I am sweating my socks off, because in the class, everyone's got their legs by their ear and it's just doing a développé écarté, and it looks like the easiest thing in the world. And I'm trying to lift my leg up and I physically can't. So I am shaking with the effort trying to keep it up there, because I'm using more strength to try to get it up, because fundamentally I don't have the range. And so it's much harder for me than someone who's really flexible. And now I have a lot of flexibility, and you'll see from my Vaganova videos, go through and watch the Vaganova walkthroughs, and I can share some Adagio clips. Like, I am flexible. I got so flexible, and it is so much easier to lift your legs. Guaranteed you need to be super strong, for sure. But like, strength without flexibility it's just kind of useless. You really need to have the range as well. And so it wasn't until after my first year I got an ankle injury because I was doing a variation with hops on point, and I hadn't built up to doing that many hops on point that regularly, and so I got some inflammation. So I took the summer very easy, not a serious injury, but nonetheless an injury. And so I decided to stretch basically the whole summer and just really work on my flexibility. I did a mixture of passive and dynamic stretches. Now, people respond to things in different ways. My body responded very well to passive stretches, and a mixture of dynamic and passive. And so what I mean by that is when it's dynamic, it uses a bit more muscle engagement. Passive is when you're kind of mostly relaxed. A dynamic stretch would be what I do a lot with my hamstrings, and we do this a lot in my full body stretch classes and live classes on the platform as well. You kind of push your leg into your hand, and you push as hard as you can for 8 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you let go, and then it goes a bit further. So that would be a big part of my routine, and I kind of was doing dynamic stretches kind of accidentally. So even when I was doing the stretches and trying to push further, I would be using my muscles to push further, and then breathing deep. I think a lot of the issue is with people, they don't take the deep breaths, and there needs to be like a psychology to your stretching. You need to take the deep breaths. You need to allow your muscles to relax. You need to use imagery with your muscles, to literally imagine any tension is melting away like butter. You're not holding onto the tension, and try to really relax. Sometimes when we stretch or we do exercises, we tense up so much because of the weight and magnitude we place on the stretching session in itself. Like this, I have to get flexible now, otherwise I won't make it, otherwise I won't succeed. And you need to park all of that and just kind of do these very gentle stretches over the body, and like really allow yourself to take the deep breaths and really allow yourself to unwind and relax and really melt into the stretch. And so I used to hold my stretches for quite a long time to really allow my muscles to lengthen and relax. Holding something for 30 seconds won't really maximize flexibility and get you very flexible, or improve your flexibility that much. I would always start very slowly no matter how flexible I got, very slowly with like simple frog stretches, simple hamstring stretches, and then slowly increase. I'd never go crazy and go straight into some crazy oversplit. I found it was less about the crazy stretches, and we see some crazy stretches on social media. It was far less about crazy stretches and far more about consistency. Consistency with stretching is really, really key. So like whenever we went on holiday for summer, the teacher would say, like, make sure you stretch, like rest, you got to rest. It's been a difficult year, but above anything else, make sure you stretch in the holiday. Because if you don't stretch, it makes things really, really difficult, and you lose flexibility really, really, really quickly. Whilst you're stretching, you've got to really imagine all the tensions melting away like butter, and to take those deep breaths. And every time you exhale, imagine yourself getting a little bit deeper, and allow yourself to hold it for a few minutes. And when it starts to dissipate, then you can change. Now, if you do respond well to a lot of passive stretches, you've definitely got to do a lot of conditioning as well around that. Otherwise, you will get too lax and you will get prone to injury. So you need to make sure there's plenty of strength training surrounding that, so that your hip's protected, so that you're really making sure the muscles surrounding your hip are strong. But I do think a strong level of passive and dynamic stretches combined is really, really, really key, so that we're always kind of working the muscles at the same time, and then releasing and hold, and then push a little bit with the muscles and then release. And you'll just find not only are you establishing more flexibility, but you're also establishing the muscles that you need to engage to hold those positions. So for example, if I was stretching on the floor with my leg to the side, lying on the ground, which is a classic Vaganova stretch, lying on the ground and getting the leg over the top. Now, I wouldn't just hold my leg and just kind of hope for the best. I'd be thinking, okay, what if I was standing up? What if I was doing my développé side right now? What would I do? So then I would think about the muscles. So I would hold my inner thigh muscle of my supporting leg and really wrap the inner thigh, and then really think about this leg really turning out and squeeze my bottom underneath. So I was kind of like really visualizing and living the développé side, so that when I stood up and I was feeling really flexible, I could really establish that position again. And so over time, with my stretching routine and being very consistent, I would not miss a day of stretching. I became very, very flexible and strong. I always practiced, for example, after I did a stretching routine, I would always practice développés and like, do I feel any different? Can I access a little bit more deeper muscle engagement because I have more range now? And so I would always practice développés after stretching. And so I was kind of like also sweating a little bit from practicing that. And then I felt like, oh yes, I feel more connected. So then when I went to the class itself, I could then access those muscles and really access the feeling and the sensation. Slowly but surely, within the Vaganova classes, my legs got higher and higher and stronger and stronger. And like I said, it's not just about high legs, you know, obviously flexibility gives you high legs, but it was about I could freely express myself more and use my long limbs. Long limbs look better when they're flexible, especially like because they're longer. If you're stiff and long, it just looks like you're 10 times more stiff. Just like if you have big feet like me and you're turned in, you look really massively turned in. So everything just has to be more when you're a bit taller, I think. Like the lines have to be better. There's just more of you on show. Like think of it this way, when the legs are really long and you développé side, if the leg's low, it's like really, it's quite far away from you. It looks really low rather than a shorter dancer. It doesn't have that kind of impact. So it was really important to me that I had that to show for myself. And the lesson learned here was that I kind of taught myself because no one really told me, was consistency is key. You can do anything you set your mind to. No one's there to decide that you can't do something. You want to get more flexible, get more flexible. I had a dream of mine. I had a goal, and it was to get super flexible. And I had the faith that I could. And then it was just a case of putting the action in and making the effort. Because a lot of us have the dreams and the goals, but we don't actually make the effort in the end. And the effort is really, really key. Decide what you want to do. Take the action. And if you're interested in flexibility training, check out my website. Everything I did is on there, from beginner stuff to more advanced stuff. We go up to advanced full body stretches as well as conditioning exercises. So in my extensions course as well, for example, one of the first courses I did, it's an all-round overview of like the strength I did, the conditioning I did, and the stretching I did. And remember, stretching without strength is also useless. You need the strength as well, but strength without flexibility is also really, really difficult. Really difficult. Things are so much harder than they need to be. Flexibility is really key. So if you're someone that builds strength really easily but is quite stiff, you've got to work on your flexibility and really make a part of it a part of your routine. Flexibility can feel like a whole workout in itself. It can feel really challenging. Like after some intense stretches, you're like out of breath. And it's really, really difficult. But it's really key for you to get into the zone of stretching, just like you get into the zone when you're practicing, or get into the zone of I'm about to do fouettes. You need to relax. You need to take those deep breaths. You need to imagine any tension melting away. Don't bounce in your stretches. Take your time. And also realize that, you know, with that, you will be improving. With the psychology behind it, as you're stretching, kind of visualize yourself getting more flexible and see yourself as a flexible dancer as you're stretching, because all those things make a huge, huge difference. And it's really, really key. I went from being extremely inflexible, really inflexible, honestly, to the most flexible in my class, where flexibility now is not an issue. And you can get there too. You just got to put in the effort. And I was someone who always went above and beyond. And so that's what it takes really to make it and to get really good at ballet. You got to be addicted to becoming good. You got to really want to be good. So go practice. Good luck with the stretching. And again, if you need any help or guidance, head to my platform, balletwithisabel.com, where there's tons of stretches and tons of courses to help you succeed your flexibility goals. And I'm here for you. The Vaganova girls are flexible, and I'm here to share little insights into how to get there yourself. Flexibility is key for freedom of movement and freedom of expression. So I hope you found this interesting. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please comment down below where you are in your flexibility journey, and I'm happy to help you. And I'll see you guys very soon. Keep practicing. Bye for now. Are you looking to improve your développé side? Well, I've put together this targeted stretch class to help you get the legs nice and high to the side. Hold on to the toes, extend to the front, lengthening the lower back long. Really try to pull the leg here, pull, pull, pull more, increase the stretch. It's not just about flexibility of the legs. You'll be surprised. If you're tight in the side of your body, then your leg won't go up to the side. Even if your leg is very flexible, you'll be shifting in the body, shifting in the hips in order to compensate getting the leg up. And this class is all about targeting that so we can get the legs nice and high but keep our body beautifully straight. Let's start.